John Mayer is with us. Your good buddy, John
Bill.
Mayer.
Hey, Jason, how are
John,
you, Bill?
thank you. Have you met my friend the stoker here? He's the volcano stoker.
I have not, but Jason's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Great to meet you, John. I've seen you in concert. You are a virtuoso.
Thank you very much. I've had good nights.
We hope you're going to have a good night here. John, take us through the beginning for you. I know you were chasing it down early on, but there was some parental concern that you were too focused on your guitar.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was the son of two academics. My dad was a high school principal. My mom was an English teacher. And they didn't relate to this kid in his room playing guitar for 4 hours a day. I mean, that's a kind of a trope for a kid who ends up going nowhere in their mind. But it's hard to tell someone you're serious about something. It all looks the same when you're a 16, 15, 14-year-old kid. It looks all the same, like you're a kid in your bedroom. But for me, I was quickly amassing this scholarship of my own on how to play and how to think about music that, there was just no taking me off that path. It's like,
For kids who are trying to become musicians, I wonder, as you say that, like, how did you do that? How did you forge that path? Who'd you study?
Oh, I studied everybody for very long periods of time. I mean, I copied everyone for a long time. And I think that stuff doesn't go away. Even when you think you're not copying someone anymore, you have a little piece. Guitar players are very similar to athletes. They have a style, they have a stance, they have a rhythm. And I would move through each player's rhythm and all that stuff and kind of mimic it. And my style came out just after confusing myself into who I was playing or what I was playing until it eventually was sort of me. But there's a question in there I think that's interesting to answer is like, what's the advice for young people playing music? And if there was anything that I could look back on and say that I did that might have been different than those kids was that I just gave myself the job. You can become whatever you want to be as soon as you give yourself the title and take it seriously. So since I was 14 years old, I gave myself the gig. I wasn't a struggling musician. I wasn't a wannabe musician. I gave myself the gig. And from that period forward, it was like, okay, how do we make that happen? But I never had an issue of identity with it. I went, this is what we're doing. Now it's a question of how. And I just started thinking of myself like the CEO of a company or something, Everything fell into a project, a time frame. Became like a contractor. Okay, how do I get to this next step in a period of time where I can set a goal and I can meet it? And I think because I was just good at that system building, I never had that moment where I stopped and went, should I be doing this? It was just, how do I do it? I think was the thing.
So John, you say don't be afraid to do something different. Yet in 2015, you joined what was left of the Grateful Dead. And how has that been different in your life?
Wildly different. I've been a solo artist my whole life, and I always said that I missed the community of being in a band. And I got that in my life, to be a part of a tribe, to be a part of a band. And everything that comes with that, the high highs, the low lows, the struggles, the breakthroughs. I got to be finally like a part of a band, and it changed my life. And the acceptance, I think, that I've been given from the Dead community has been unbelievable, and I cherish it, and I'm careful with it. It's something I value a lot, and it means the world. And your acceptance, Bill, people don't know that you've sort of been a coach to me through the years. You've come up to me and had sidebars with me before shows, especially those early shows where I was the rookie, and you would come up to me maybe almost either knowing or sensing that I could be a little shy or a little conservative, and you would look at me basically before every show and be like, shoot the ball. And so I have a lot to thank you for, and you're giving me the confidence to go out there and really take the shots on the guitar and step forward. And I don't know if I would have had the same confidence without you.
What else did he tell you?
You know, it's really just him being very laser sharp. When Bill gives you advice, he looks you dead in the eye and everything stops and he speaks with this cadence. Go out there, give it your absolute all. Don't be shy. They are here to watch you play. Go play to the greatest of your abilities. And some of the greatest compliments I've ever been given were from Bill Walton. And I won't say them because they're sort of boop, boop, boop. But he said some very nice things that sent me on stage with a lot of confidence.
John, your search for perfection and your relentless pursuit of excellence, where has that taken you in your life from when you first got started? I believe you were inspired in the early days by Michael J. Fox. And now, here you are.
I've loved the guitar my whole life. And now, I don't know if this is the same in basketball, but all of that information, when you've amassed it and held on to it and used it and used it and used it, at some point it disappears and you're just left with the art. You're just left with the thing. And now, at this point in my career, it's all about taking advantage of this peak moment in my life where I really think that I am in the flow of all of it. I don't have to think. The two things. I don't have to think so much about what I'm doing, and I don't have to worry so much anymore about how it's going to be received, because I think I've been doing it long enough that people have a sense of what I do. So everything I've done in the last 20 years has sort of led me here to this point where it's just now about making the music that is in my heart the best I can make it, without that other consideration of, am I going to get my name out there? Are they going to walk away? Are they going to care tomorrow? It's just so pure now that I get the sense that it's this until I lose the ability to do it. To me, this is the prime time for me,
So I wonder, looking back on it, what's it like, considering all you just said, having very early success in life?
I would have rather had it than not had it. But what that meant was that I had to deal with the trip that most people take before success during success, which means that all eyes are on you. So there is a lot of steam you have to blow off as a younger person. You do want the wind in your face. You do want to get your jersey dirty. And if you don't, and everybody goes, no, you won the game, you look around and you go, I wanted to win by fewer points. I didn't want to win by this many points. You still have a certain amount of getting in the dirt you want to do. And the trouble is everybody's watching you when you do that. So that was the only trade-off. It was very, very early success before I had fully grown up, and you got to do both at once. You got to write records, and you also have to grow up, and everyone's watching. And I still, when I hear myself say that, I'm glad I had the early success. But it's tricky. You have to figure it out, and then you become the result of your lessons and your successes and your failures, and it ends up being like a pretty nice place to be, because it's really well-rounded. It's got everything in it. And I find that I'm really good at giving advice to younger artists now because of it. I can kind of read people's minds because I've been there. So I can almost say to someone, I bet you're thinking X, Y, and Z. And they go, how did you know that? And it's like, well, because I did. I ran into the same wall. So, hey, don't run into that wall. I can protect people to a certain extent, knowing that their instinct is a certain way that I had, and I ran into the wall, and I can say, hey, trust me, you're going to run into a wall. So that's the joy for me, is to kind of help people, update the thing, that based on my mistake.
By the way,
John,
real
you
quick,
got a lot going on. You're hosting television shows, you're doing stand-up comedy, you're writing constantly. You've also got a big benefit coming up, and then your own solo tour. And then in May, Dead & Company starts up the final tour. So take us through what's going to happen the next 6 months.
Every day is a thing. every day's got an agenda. I'm here in the studio figuring out how to do an acoustic solo tour, how to make that sort of the best it can be. So I'm not necessarily recording a record this next few weeks. I'm more surrounded by equipment and cables and acoustic guitars, and just trying to figure out how to make this run the best. I'm doing a solo acoustic tour of arenas, which to me is sort of issuing a challenge to myself. Can you stand alone on a stage in front of 18,000 people and hold them all together like it was a living room? And I've done it enough in flashes to kind of think that I could do it for a whole tour. So I'm excited to get that all figured out, because I know it can be great.
If you need a backup drummer, if you need a piano player, I'm willing to audition. When
Bill,
does the benefit start?
I'm sorry?
When does the benefit happen, and where is that going to be, and what is the cause that you're benefiting?
That is
March
on the 9th,
I believe.
March 9th. And is it Love Rocks? It's Love Rocks. And I'm going to be playing with the trio that I have. I haven't played with them in a while. It's Steve Jordan and Pino Palladino and myself. We're sort of in like a power blues rock trio that we haven't put on stage in a while. I'm really excited about that. A lot of other great artists. James Taylor's there. Ton of other great artists are going to be there. But you know where I need you, Bill, is in the crowd, like you do, where your arms are up, like you're like air traffic control for the flight patterns of Grateful Dead and Dead and Company. You're a repeater tower. You know, I'm up on stage playing, and it's like you're an antenna for what's coming out, and it hits you, and then it radiates and hits everyone else even stronger. It's the best. It's the best. Your arms ever get tired, Bill, when you do that?
No.
Yeah.
I'm able to do this. I spent
Wow.
4.5 years of my life, from 2008 to 2012 and a half, when I couldn't move. I was on the ground. All I could do was just sit there and wish this would stop, when my spine had totally collapsed. But now I'm all better. You have healed me, John. It's been absolutely fantastic. And one of the things that healed me was when you won that Grammy Award. But then you thought that Alicia Keys deserved it. And then you cut the Grammy Award in half, and you sent her the top half, and you kept the bottom half.
She
Take
was
us
at my
through that
apartment.
decision.
Well, I thought it was better. I liked winning it, and we were at my apartment one night, and I just took it and I turned it real hard, and the top part just went weet and unscrewed. And I think I signed the top part, said, love you or something, and gave it to her. And she didn't protest, which I thought was cool, because she probably also secretly had maybe a better tune. Not that I mean, Daughters is a very important song, and I've played it in a lot of important settings. But I now have just the base of the Grammy, knowing that she has the top part of the Grammy, the actual gramophone, and it's a little bit like a best friends necklace, where it's two hearts and they go together to make one necklace, and she's got one half and I have the other half,
Yeah, with my wife, Lori, I like both the top half and the bottom half. Yes. And I know you've got the Back to You. You have the Back to You Foundation there, which you're able to give back to the people who have helped you so much, focusing on healthcare, education, the arts, and talent development. Can you share with us some of the reasons and the inspiration behind the Back to You Fund?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it centers on music education. So we'll get requests from school systems, a lot of them in, places that don't have the same budget that I had when I was growing up going to school. And it's just really nice to know that we're able to put instruments into the hands of young people to find out, where's John Coltrane, where's Miles Davis, where's Bill Evans, where's Jerry Garcia, for a generation. you need to put these things in front of people so they can step forward and you can find out who the generational masters are. If you don't do that, my biggest fear is that a Jerry Garcia or a John Coltrane go their whole life and don't know it. And so to me, music education is important because it recruits the masters, the eventual masters. And it's a very scary thought to think they go through their whole life without ever finding the instrument that they could excel at. So it's a very high honor to do that.
John,
We have to
thank
go.
you. We have to go. I want to say, though, to your face before you go, John, besides saying thank you, I want to acknowledge your brilliance and greatness because I was there at Citi Field on July 16th, 2022, the last night of Dead & Company summer tour. And it was a tough, long, brilliant, exhilarating, vibrant tour. And the last night, Citi Field, 70,000 fans on a hot summer night. It was perfect. And that was the night. I was there. That was the night that John Mayer became Michael Jordan. Focus, determination, concentration, not waiting for anything or everything.
Thanks, John.
We love John Mayer, and we'll see you on the final tour. Thanks for being
Thank you.
John Mayer. Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. Here we go.